Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Uprooted. I am Omatoke Adewale. And here in Uprooted, we talk about all things faith and mental health. We are in season 4, that it's all about healing and thriving. And today we have another special guest that is going to join me in a conversation about that. And our guest today is Tolu. Tolu, I'm going to pass it over to you. Do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself? We welcome you into this conversation.
Sure. Thank you, Toke. Hi, everyone. My name is Tolu Onofe. I'm excited to be here, excited to join you in this session. A little bit about me. I I'm a faith lover. Right, love God. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. Been married for we're getting to our 10th year pretty soon. Right, how time flies. Yeah, yeah,
Really?
almost there. Almost
Oh
there.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
I I love bacon. I love getting my hands like trying new things. I love
She's a plug. She's a plug for all things sweet.
yes. All things sweet. I love entertaining too. Yeah, excited to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it's been 10 years. Feel like it was just yesterday. Does it feel like that for you too?
Oh yeah. And some days it feels like a long time. Sometimes it's like, wait, what?
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. And yes, Tolu is all the things, all the plug for sweet things. Her meat pie is on point. Puff puff on point. And it matches her sweet personality. I'll just kind of be
Oh,
cheesy and put it out there.
yeah.
Thank you so much, so much. And as we kind of jump into the conversation, this season is all about healing and thriving and just what that means to each individual, right? Because it's different for each person, what it means to heal, what it means to thrive, because everybody has different journeys. And I'm wondering for you, when you just think about the word healing, like what does that mean to you or what comes to your mind?
Hmm. Yeah, to me, healing is a process.
Mm,
Healing
mhm,
involves mental state, physical, spiritual, emotional, everything all together. It's the body, mind, and spirit. I think when we
mhm,
think about healing, we think about physical state. Um,
mm,
Healing too can be long term. It's a
mm,
process. It's not
mm,
it's not one time, and then sometimes when you think you're done healing and then you see something triggers it, it just
mhm,
opens up the wounds again. So yeah, healing to me is a process, and it's very
mm.
important to ensure that we follow through those process and we get to the stage of recovery. Because when we do not get to that point, we're just going to keep going back through the circle all over again.
Right, right. Well, I love how you put that, a process, right? And it sounds like you're speaking from um a whole person kind of perspective, right? Because like you said, excuse me, we look at it sometimes just like physically or just one aspect of it. And also we look at it as its final destination sometimes. And I like how you put that up. Like it's a process and it's a journey. And like for you, specifically or personally, like how have you seen that like play out for you, like that healing process, um, like in your life?
Yeah. Oh, I've gone through many stages of healing, and I think
Mhm.
I've experienced it. I mean, I recently just lost my dad. Um,
Mm.
it's almost 2 years now, but it just feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
Been through that. We've also lost, loved ones and gotten hurt. We've also gotten
Yeah.
hurt from relationships, uh,
Yeah.
gotten hurt from not meeting expectations.
Mm.
And there's various stages of going through that. But I think that just as we go through the stages of grief, I think that
Hmm.
those stages applies to with healing.
Right.
Um, being able to open up and express how you feel has been helpful.
Hmm.
Being able to acknowledge that you can't be strong because sometimes as a mom, you're everything.
Hmm.
As a woman, you're
Mm.
expected to be everything,
Mm.
and you're just like, no, I cannot be everything. I cannot do it all. I
Mm.
need help.
Hmm.
I need to process this. I need to sit in the moment and
Right.
absorb what's going on, and come up with a plan.
Hmm.
What's the outcome? What do I want to get out of this? Do I need to
Right.
forgive? right? Or
Mm,
do I need to just accept and move on?
mm,
Um, do I need to pray about this? Do I need to ask God to help me through this because it's emotional, it's mental, it's beyond me? Do I need to seek therapy? Do I need to
mm,
talk to someone about that?
right.
Um, and you can only come to those conclusions when you process it, when you just sit accept the situation you're in, and also working towards a goal. Yeah,
Mm. Tolu, okay, I'm just gonna say, you're making that sound.
yeah,
Some of us, it's hard for us to ask for help. It's hard for us to put things down.
yeah,
It's hard for us to acknowledge what is happening, like in the present moment. And I know you're saying it, and I can imagine in you going through it's probably an uphill battle or a
yeah,
difficult process. Because a lot of the things that we say, it's easier said than done, right?
yeah.
And as you were saying, yeah, just ask for help and then just process what you're feeling. And
It is hard.
it's so hard. It's so hard. And like you said, especially as a woman, and I can imagine, especially as a mom, right? When you're looking and you're having kids who are looking up to you, who rely on you, who depend on you every single day, right? It's not like oh, I can clock in and clock out, right? Like work, it's like
Yeah,
you work and you go
yeah,
home. It's a full time gig, 24-hour, 24/7.
yeah,
When you have other people who are dependent on you, and then just the different, like you said, different things that we have to go through. You mentioned loss, relationship changes, and trying to meet expectations. And I have a question for you with that. How do you balance it all? Right? Because honestly, I'm someone I look up to Tolu, right? Um, because she does it all, right? She's mom, she's wife, she's career woman. And I'm not saying you make it look easy, but you do make it look possible, is what I would say, right? Not easy, but possible, like to do it all, to have some type of balance. So how do you do it? Please inform us. Tell us your tips and your secrets.
I love how you said possible to make it possible, and I
Right.
think that's what drives it. Is I can be everything, you know.
Hmm.
I cannot be even being as a wife to my husband or being as a
Yeah.
mother to my three kids. There are days when it's hard. Some days I'm just like I just
Yeah.
want to lay down in bed and I have to go through the circle of breakfast and put on your shoes and like the struggle is real.
Yes.
Just like, let's just go
Yes.
out the door. Some days it's hard, and some days we
Hmm.
we rely on each other. So having a system of I wouldn't just say family, but like create around you systems that you can rely on because
Mm,
we're human. I'm human. The areas where I feel I'm not able to do it, I rely
mm,
on another person or another system, and that could be me having childcare. That could
mm.
be having to say, this has been a really rough week. I have a lot to do with work. I'm just going to
Right.
have to go to childcare. That gives me that 12 hours of care, right?
Right. Right.
And not feeling guilty just because I'm having childcare, another person provide
Mm,
work where I'm not able to
right.
support with, right? But admitting the fact that I'm limited and I need
Mm, mm-hmm.
would be that. Or it could also mean me having to just pay for a grocery service, right?
Mm,
The grocery shopping, I need to do this, I need to do that, but I need to spend time with my kids. So how about I pay for a grocery service, deliver what I
mm,
need, and I could just sit down in the moment with them.
right.
Or deadlines, right? We
Mm,
have work you need to deliver, you have strategies, you have stuff to be delivered, and I think I need help. I think
mm-hmm.
I can do what defines Tolu. It's what I always
Mm,
ask myself. What defines me in that moment? Um,
right. Wow.
I also have church. We have responsibilities. I want to
Mm,
spend time with my church community, and you just have to just prioritize that. And it's a daily struggle, and I've gotten better at it.
mm-hmm.
At just sitting down, what's my priorities for today? What are the things
Mm,
that defines me? What am I
right.
urgent most to do? What are the things that, yeah, it's important, but I can delegate that elsewhere? I think that's helped to create that balance. And it all comes down to communicating, communicating. It could be some days at work. I think this is going to be a work at home week. If you need me, I'm available by emails. sometimes you just have to figure that out. Like it's because all the things needs to happen.
Right. You can find me at home.
I'm here. I have my phone, I have my emails, I'm reachable. You know, find that balance.
Oh my goodness. I love how you put that because there's something that I always tell my clients is there's this idea of find balance, right? And it's great, right? We got to find balance. But I always tell people we have to create balance, right? Whatever that means for you. And what you're saying is you look at what defines you, right? Even if it's in the given moment, in the given day, and you prioritize. Like if I just get a grocery service, that's gonna allow me to have extra 30 minutes with my kids
Right.
versus like I've been at work all day. I'm gonna go get groceries. And then by the time I get home, I have to cook and then put them to bed, maybe, right? I'm just giving an example,
Yeah.
right? So like looking at would it really hurt to just get a grocery service or to get someone to watch my kids or whatever that means, right? And just like you said, not feeling guilty for that, right? Not feeling guilty for the ways in which we have to create systems that help us. Like we have to help ourselves, right?
Right.
So I love how you put that. Like what defines me in this moment, right? That's great. Okay. I have another question. So as we're thinking about like those roles and identities, also can you tell the people what you do? Like maybe not like specifically, but like what is like your role or like your um title, I guess as far as like career job.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm an environmental health and safety professional. So what that means, I keep people safe at work from occupational hazards.
Hey,
um,
it's safe.
yeah, safety, workplace safety. It's big. I work with one of the big healthcare companies. I'm one of I'm the safety director, overseeing a few locations and facilities. So that keeps me pretty busy. But I love my job. You know, I just love interacting with people, looking at processes and systems and all of that.
Right.
And then outside of work, I love to bake. Just as you said, I love to make my pastries and get myself just busy and just spend time with kids.
Hmm.
And in church, I'm one of the little kids teacher, and I love teaching those little young minds, those little 7 to 9 year kids. Just keeps me engaged, keeps me busy too.
Nice. I love how you just kind of slid that in there. I'm a what did you have, a manager, whatever,
Yeah,
safety
stuff. Yeah,
director,
it's that.
I love it. So when you think about all of those roles, like all of those hats that you wear, if you want to put it in that way, how do you think those roles have shaped like your own healing process throughout life or affected it in any way? Role as a mom, as a career woman, as a woman of faith,
Mm.
who's really dedicated. Like how do you think all of those roles or any one of those specific roles has impacted like your healing journey?
Wow. I think all of them have has actually played a part in each one of who I am as a person.
Hmm.
With work, you tend to see things from a different lens. It's
Hmm.
one thing like somebody at home, I'm looking through like the data, I'm looking at all these different businesses and departments, and you're like, what is going on here? But when I go in and step in the unit and talk with the managers, and you see from a different lens, there's a different form of empathy that comes into play.
Mm,
And you just like, okay, well, let's look at it from a different perspective. How about
right,
we do this? How about we do that?
right,
And I think that has helped me because when I'm interacting with people or when I'm getting hard on myself or a few stuff, it's okay. How about we look at it from a different perspective? How
right,
about we try this? How about we
right.
try that? It's helped shape that. With my role with kids, being a mom, and also teaching those little kids, it humbles you
Mm,
because you realize you don't know everything. You get to learn a lot from them. I get to be curious and see things from their lens, their perspective.
right,
My 5 year old came to me one day and was like, "Oh, did you know this experiment and all of that?" And I was like, "Of course I know that." But I just had to stay curious, and he's like telling me how they learned this in the
right.
school and all that stuff. But I learned something from him. I got to
Wow,
reason, and it's true.
wow.
it's different.
Right.
And it just helps you stay curious,
Right.
never bored. And I think that helps a lot in life because a lot of things comes our way. A lot
Hmm.
of bills, demands, that every and their expectations from everything that but sometimes we get lost in ourselves, like who we are. And
Right.
um there was this advert, I don't know what company did that, but it was they were thanking the kids for helping them to see life through their lenses.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it's very important because we need to sometimes remember that we can't have it all. We can't do it all. We just need
Right.
to breathe, take a step back, and
Hmm.
enjoy the moment.
Right. Right. Stop and smell the roses, like they say. Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. Just don't go through it, right? Some of
Yeah.
us are just existing. We're not actually living, right? We're merely surviving, not thriving, right? Which
Right.
is, what we already talked about this season. Love how you put that. And it keeps going back to, again, like your identity and what defines you, right? And letting that be like the core anchor of how you move. And it sounds like for you, curiosity is huge. Like that's a value of yours, of just being curious, in how you move around. Like, and I think a lot of us can learn from that, right? Some of us, we get into situations where we feel like we've arrived and
Mm-hmm.
we know it all, right? Can you imagine? Like, you can learn from anywhere and anyone,
Yeah.
right? A 5 year old, right? Even if it feels like, yeah, it's something I already know. I think that was just a great metaphor example of how sometimes we approach things, right? Because you said he came to you and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I want to show you this experiment." And you're like, "I already know." In your mind,
Right.
you're like, "I already
Right.
know this." And imagine how many situations we go into thinking, "I already know this," or "I already have the answer," or "I already know what they're going to say," right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus just being like, "Let me see what I can take from this." Even if it's just one thing, even if I know 90% of it, maybe there's 10% of it that I don't know. And I think that's just a great way to capture that process of continuing to learn, and how that shapes healing too. Um, and you were talking about being a woman of faith, and I'm wondering how faith, has also like played a role for you. Faith in your relationship with God, how's that played a role for you in your life, in your journey?
Yes. Oh yeah. Faith is the foundation of everything that
Hmm.
I am. I did just a little bit about myself. I came out to the States when I was 17, real young,
Mm.
came out to school, um, college out here in California. And there are days when it was lonely. You were
Mm.
my mom, my dad, my siblings. What was
Yeah.
home to me was
Mm.
different,
Yeah.
and different encounters. We're not going to
Right.
go into that. Different encounters, different healing processes.
Hmm.
But God had been my main foundation. A lot of scriptures in Isaiah helped
Mm.
ground me. I do have in my house like reading scriptures, reading down. I read and meditate on that because
Hmm.
those are the to me it's the glue that binds me together. People
Mm.
that know me in there, you hear me just talk about God. I'm nothing without him. He's my source. He's
Yeah.
my source. Everything about me, the wisdom or how I go about things, he guides me through it. There are a lot of times
Mm.
at work and even in my work, some things are thrown at me and just like, how do I go about this?
Yeah.
How will I how are we going to get results from this? And then it's just like that voice behind your ears, like guiding you, leading you through it,
Right.
has helped to ground me through that.
Mm.
And just knowing that no matter what comes my way, he was like, and even if you're in deep waters, it's not going to overcome you, right? Just
Mm.
that word, that simple reassurance
Right.
that even if you're between a rock and a hard place, I am with you.
Mm.
Um, I will make a way for you. And it might just seem words, but as you meditate on those and repeat that over and over again, you start to get it builds hope. It's like a little light starts to grow. And it's like, yes,
Mm.
God will make a way. I may not have the answer right now, but I know He will make a way. Right? I know He
Mm.
will make a way. Um, as 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 um, as a mom, also with my kid, I remember my first kid too had some challenges, and it was like, wow, I'm gonna deal with this. But God
Mm.
kept saying, like, everything I give to you is perfect.
Mm.
Everything I give to you is perfect.
Wow. Wow.
And it's like just look around you and you will see the manifestation of God. And that's
Wow.
where the curiosity, as I mentioned, I always have to tell myself to pause and take
Mm.
it all in. I may not get the big picture, but we're working towards that goal.
Mm,
And without having that foundation of God and or having that faith grounded, I think when life throws challenges at us, we will fail. But
mm.
that foundation helps to keep us solid. Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know if anybody else, as you were just speaking all of that, it's like you were talking to me. It was like God was speaking to me through you. Like my insides were just warm. Like no matter what comes our way, no matter what we go through, um, that's what keeps us anchored, right? I resonate with that so much, right? And also thinking about my experiences and the times where I felt like honestly, like God didn't love me, God didn't see me, God didn't care, right? And now that I'm in a different place, I'm able to think back on the moments where, if not for God, right? And it's like there were moments where I felt alone, but I was able to look back and realize that I actually was never alone, right? And I think I'm definitely a definition of I don't look like what I've been through, right? When they say that,
Yes,
um,
yes.
yeah. And as you were just speaking, it was just really visceral, and I think one of the things that stood out is you um, talking about um, just how the picture that kept coming to my mind was like an anchor, and like you just have like a center, right? It's like something just covering you, so different things are like
Mhm.
happening around, but you're like, this is God, and then you're like inside, and
Yeah,
it's like it's not gonna move me, it's not gonna shake me. I
yeah,
might feel it, I might feel things trying to come inside, but like I'm okay, right?
yes, yeah.
That was just that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Are you sure you're not gonna be a pastor?
No.
Is that in your future somewhere?
Oh no. Oh no. No, no, no.
Because you were
I love
preaching.
God, but no, no. You're
You
so
were
funny, so
you were
good.
you were preaching just now. You were preaching.
No, I mean you asked me what defines me, and it's just like it's the confidence in God, right? It's
Yeah.
that confidence. Just I love how you pictured it like you're centered, you're just covered in there. You're
Mm-hmm.
protected, you're in arms. And I always have the picture of a mother and a child, right? No matter what
Mm.
comes, they hold in, there's that comfort. Like,
Yeah.
yes, you're feeling it, but I have you wrapped in my arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just that visual
Mm-hmm.
helps carry you through because
Mm-hmm.
life is going to be hard. There's no promises of roses and
Right.
like everything making it easy. No, because we learn from those challenges. So sometimes those challenges are good that we'll go through that. It's good that
Right.
we, as the Bible says, it's good that I've been afflicted, that we
Mm.
actually know the promises and the truth of God. Because it's in
Mm-hmm.
those hard times that your faith gets tried and you get to realize like I mean, it builds a different level of faith. Your faith grows. Our faith grows, right?
Right.
It starts as a mustard seed and it starts to grow, and we start to move mountains.
Mm.
It's very, very important. We should not be the fact that we're going through challenges should not be a deterrent that God
Mm.
is not with us, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
that everything is falling apart and we're going sideways. Like, no,
Mm-hmm.
what can I learn from that moment? How can this
Right.
shape me to be who I
Right.
am? And I'm
Right.
forever grateful now. I look back that I was here by myself without my mom and my dad because I
Mm.
got to grow. I
Mm.
got to grow. I got to experience life differently.
Mm.
And this is experiences that can never be taken away from me. It's
Mm.
part of who I am. It's making me a leader at my work. It's making me a mother, a better mother to my kids,
Mm.
an amazing friends to my friends.
Mm.
Yeah, it all shapes you eventually.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too how like when we're going through those things, we're not thinking about, oh yeah, this is gonna help me actually when I'm a
No.
mother one day. Or, when I'm doing
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z, or when I'm
Yeah.
talking on this podcast with this lady. We don't
Uh,
think about that,
yeah.
right? We had a guest minister a couple weeks ago at our church who pretty much said that we should live our lives in the present moment. I'm just paraphrasing what he said, but we should live our lives in the present moment, thinking about the end, not where we're actually at. Like, where is God actually taking us? Like, everything you're going through in the moment is going to feel overwhelming. Like you said, it's
Mm,
going to feel really difficult, right? But this is not your end point, right? And if only we could know that, oh, all of these things that I'm going through is going to create this
yeah.
beautiful life story or whatever you want to call it, right? But when we're going through it, it's like, I want to get out of this. This is too
Yeah.
much. I cannot deal
Yeah.
with this, right? So I think again, like you said, it feels like it feels like you're gonna fail if you don't have God.
Mm,
So I think that's what makes the difference, right? Just because we have God doesn't mean we don't go through challenges,
mm.
but we have him to get us through it, right? So I think the way you put that is just it's so great, and so beautiful. And as you're speaking, I'm just thinking about how do you, because you talked about like looking at the things that define you,
Mm.
right? Defines Tolu. So how do you actually take care of yourself, right? Because you're someone who does all these things, right? You're
Yeah.
so many things to so many people. Um, what are some of like your own personal like self-care practices? Like how do you show up for you, you know, uh, in a way that, you know, kind of promotes like your thriving and your healing?
Great question. So self-care to me, I just have to throw it out there. It's not selfish care, right? I think so much
Mm,
think self-care needs to only be focused on us and what do I want to do? But no, self-care to me involves doing other things that makes me whole. So that could be me volunteering for a homeless shelter or
mm,
picking up a community event and something that I'm passionate about, like outside of
wow.
what defines me, and just committing to that. It could be committing with, even if it's money, even if it's my time, even if it's helping to just gather some bags for like kids in foster care and stuff like that. Um, that brings us a different level of like satisfaction, right?
Mm,
To that's one aspect of it. I love
hmm.
doing my nails. I love just going out. It's me time, my mani petty time. No one calling me. This is my own time.
Mommy, mommy, mommy.
Stop there. No, I'm out. I'm out. For the next couple of hours, I'm out, right? And I could just, I do that. I have that scheduled, to
Mm,
have myself just relax and enjoy that pampered time.
hmm.
Um, Self care to me could also mean traveling. I remembered over the summer, I just booked a ticket, a hotel. My husband woke up in the morning and said, "We're traveling. We're going."
Oh, okay,
Like, okay. Um,
okay.
what date? I said, I know your calendar. I know what your critical meetings are. So it's a perfect time. We need to go.
Oh my gosh.
And I needed that. I just needed
Hmm.
that time to go. The kids could go do their thing, and had our own time together and just relax, reflect outside of work, not at home, different environment. And that was great because he got to also do something different. I got to do my own different, activity too. My self care could also be just being in the car, listening to my podcast,
Mm,
no calls, just turning on my do not disturb on
hmm.
both personal and work phone, and
Mm,
just enjoying that ride, that commute. Um, I find that I try to schedule those within the week, within my day. I don't wait until I'm burnt out to get self.
that's
I
it.
don't wait until that
Yeah.
point in time. One moment I start to feel okay, it's overwhelming, the
Hmm.
tank is getting empty. I need to fill myself up because if I don't fill myself up, I cannot give back to
Right.
wife or mom, being awesome at my job, or even as a friend. I will not be
Right.
able to fill that back. So self care it's a way of filling back your cup. What makes you whole, gets you excited about stuff, and yeah, that's what I do.
Nice. I've never heard someone say their self part of their self-care practice is like outreach and doing something for other people. I haven't heard that yet. That's so cool. I love that. And it actually makes sense the way you explained it. Of like, what are the things that makes me fulfilled?
Right?
Duh, that's okay, right? And
Exactly.
I also picture like, you know how you have an extension cord?
Hmm.
You plug the extension cord into the wall, and then other plugs are plugged into the outlet of the
Yeah.
extension cord. So you're kind of like that extension cord, and the people plugged into you,
Yeah.
are maybe husband, kids, friends, the different things you have to do. So you have to care for yourself, because if you plug the extension cord into the wall and the extension cord isn't working, or maybe it's broken or faulty in some way,
Exactly.
the other plugs connected to it wouldn't be able to work. So that's what came to my mind when you were saying that. It's like, I have to fill myself up. I have to take care of me and fulfill me so that everything connected to me is good. Um,
That's a great
so,
visual. That's great.
oh, thank you.
I
If
love
you
that.
if you had one tip, okay, just one tip for the moms out there. So women, moms who are doing it all, right?
Mm,
Working, trying to take care of the home, whatever, be a good wife, all of that.
yeah.
Like, what is one tip that you would give?
There is no perfection. And they stop putting pressure on themselves. Like we need
Mm-hmm,
to stop letting community, the society, put
mm-hmm,
pressure or define who we need to be. Uh,
mm,
Everyone has a different purpose, passion, drive. Not everyone can be like me. Not everyone can be a career, family, and every other thing else that defines me. Some people are great being a housewife, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is
yes.
nothing wrong with dedicating your time to
Mm-hmm,
care for your kids and doing that. There's
mm,
nothing wrong in being a full career wife and
mm-hmm,
getting a job that allows you to travel. As long
mm-hmm,
as you have a good support system, there's nothing wrong with that. So
mm-hmm,
there's no perfection.
mm,
Um, and we just need to enjoy the moment. Enjoy, because we need to take time of ourselves. Yeah.
right. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. There's no perfection. There's no perfect way to be a mom. There's no perfect way to be a wife. There's no perfect way to be a woman, or just to be a person. If you're a man listening too, there's
Yeah.
no perfect way
Right.
to
Right.
be. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Tolu.
Awesome. No, thank you.
One last question that I, ask everyone, as part of like the season, because I'm a really big, what do you call it, advocate for like people sharing their testimony,
Yeah.
but in a way, because I think sometimes we think about the end result of someone's life. Like, everybody's probably looking at you right now, like, wow, she's so whatever. But you don't know what it took for her to get here, right? And I think
Yep.
in this social media age that we're in, we see highlights and captures of people's lives, but we don't actually get the full picture. So I always like to ask, in the past couple of seasons, ask a question to kind of capture people's like testimony in a way. So for you, what is a past prayer point that you are currently living in right now?
Wow. That's a really great question. Okay, we're gonna be honest here.
Mm-hmm.
I think so growing up, I started. Um,
Mm.
I still stutter sometimes. People do not believe that. My husband knows when I'm mad or pissed off, I start to
Oh,
stutter.
good
Yeah,
to know. I'm just kidding.
words there. And then I was also a little bit fearful. I was very
Mm.
fearful of trying new things, just that very introverted young little kid.
Yeah.
But something in me knew that my purpose and who I was going to be needed me to not be introverted, right? Like I,
Mm.
I can't be introverted in my job or my field. I can't, right?
Right,
I
right.
kept praying for that, the spirit of boldness, the being able to say what comes to my mind as I speak. Because when I started, I know what I want to say, but the words just were not coming out. It was
Mm.
not. I wasn't able to say it, and it was very like, oh, people are laughing at me, making fun of me, like very self very self not secured, very self conscious.
Mm.
And I knew that was a little bit of a weakness. Well, it was a big weakness, and just asking God to help me through that process because
Mm.
I read books, did everything, but that wasn't working therapy. And God gradually made the changes in me, and now it's not even a prayer. Now I'm able to say exactly what comes to my mind. I'm able to be bold, to express myself. Um, the past me, if you ask me to join in this podcast, I'm like, no, 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 I'm not gonna do this, right? But now I'm leaving. This is
Yeah.
answers to prayer, right?
Right.
Being able to
Right.
leave boldly. This is who Tolu is.
Mm-hmm.
being unafraid of just accepting who I am and no longer being self-conscious, but just being bold. Right. Yeah.
Wow. And you're so well spoken. Like,
Yeah.
isn't it crazy how I don't want to say the devil, but it's the devil. Would use some of the things
Yeah.
that are like maybe a
Yeah.
weakness or past weakness to kind of stop us, right? Imagine if you were just still, self-conscious about that or, or that was still something that was continuously coming up for you. Like imagine the things you probably wouldn't be doing right now. Anyways,
Thank
that's it.
God.
Yeah, we thank God. We thank
Yeah.
God. Thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a good conversation. I don't want it to end.
Yeah.
But we don't want to leave, but we gotta
Yeah.
go right now.
I know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. This is really great. I enjoyed.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments. If you want a part two, say it. Speak it into existence. Let us know. Okay. And we'll definitely be bringing you another episode again next time. Take care. Hey, community, thank you so much for tuning into the episode today. I know that you got something out of it, so don't forget to leave all your comments, questions, and reflections from the episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe as we continue to build this community together. And also turn on your notifications so that you know when every episode drops. Thank you all so much again, and until we meet again, continue to be well, do well, and live well.